Welcome back, everybody. We are now near 40 days, as John said, biblical proportions of a government shutdown, and the ripple effects are being felt practically everywhere. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers remain furloughed or without pay, leaving everything from veterans benefits to national park services in limbo. So joining us now to discuss those major economic challenges and his proposition to overcome them, welcome to political writer and businessman Joe Penland. Joe, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
We are happy to have you, and we reported at the top of the show, Democrats seem to be inching a little bit closer to the table, but they, of course, have conditions. This has got to end soon, and I know that you've got some ideas as to how to get our economy under control.
Well, obviously, we have to end this. I mean, this is a fight that no American is going to win. That's sad to say. But, usually when two people are fighting in a boxing ring, it's just those two. Usually the spectators don't get hurt. In this case, the Democrats and Republicans are fighting, and the American people are the spectators, and they're getting hurt and no fault of their own. And we need to see this stop sooner than later.
So the history of these shutdowns is reopening the government after shutdown actually ends up costing more than it does to keep it shut down or keep it going during a shutdown. At what point do we break this cycle, and are the American people ready for the first time to say, pass a law and just say no more shutdowns, please?
I think the American people are ready for that. American people are sick and tired of sending people up to D.C. to represent them, and then they get there and they forget about the people back at home. This is a fight for America, not for one side of the aisle or the other. We need to do what's right for the American people, and we'll iron this other stuff out. Our debt is completely out of control. That's a bipartisan problem. So we're not going to fix the debt on this CR. That's not going to happen. We're not going to fix Social Security on this CR. That's not going to happen. What we need to do is put that behind us, make sure that America is still stable and we're working like we should each day, and then we'll get on with fixing the problems. But staying away is not fixing the problems, it's making it worse.
Joe, I know that you are in the wonderful state of Texas, and New York could not be further from Texas in terms of political ideology. But we look at Zohran Mamdani about to be sworn in as New York City's mayor. Does it concern you that that type of liberalism can infect places, some of the bluer areas of Texas?
It certainly does. I mean, and what I'm afraid of, there'll be a lot more people move out of New York, come down here to Texas, and that may blue us a little more than we want to be. I hate that. But, we welcome people coming to this great state. But what's happening is people are leaving the blue states, coming down here just to get away from what's crazy up there. And I think it's going to affect our voter, our mass of people going to the ballots. And I hate to see that come. But we need to get some sense back in America and go back to the old standards that we've had that's led this country for almost 250 years.
So, Joe, I know you think a lot about the macroeconomics behind deficits and policy and economics. Obviously, with the baby boomers retiring, we've got a growing labor shortage. What are some of the solutions short of allowing illegal aliens to be illegal workers in this country?
Well, we're going to, the only way we're going to grow our workforce, unfortunately, is through legal immigration. With the birth rate what it is, we have a declining birth rate in this country. And that's fine. That's a woman's choice, and that's the way it should be. And that's okay. But we cannot continue to source out all our work around the world. The president wants to bring $6 or $7 trillion worth of work back to this country, but we have to have workers to be able to do that and capitalize on it. What we look back at Ellis Island, what we done then, and that brought millions of people, about 20 million people here to this country, and they settled here, and it made this country a little greater than we could have ever been on our own. We need a workforce. We need a solid workforce, but we need people that are law-abiding and abide by our rules. And if we do that, we can work ourselves out of this problem. If we keep shipping jobs out of the country or not take advantage of the money that's ready to invest in this country, and the only way we're going to do that is we're going to have to use legal immigration. If every woman got pregnant today that could and have children, that workforce is 20 years plus out of cycle to help us. So we've got to do something in the short run, and we can do this, and we can actually capitalize on that and help some shortfall for the economy.
Yeah. Joe, I want to ask you a question, another dichotomy between New York and Texas. We were having a conversation with another Texan this week, and We were talking about New York with respect to it being the capitalist capital of the world, the banking center of the world. But it seems like there are a lot of banking groups that are moving their way to Dallas. Does that seem right to you?
I had some meetings with some bank people this week. There's a lot of people coming to Dallas. There's a lot of people coming to Houston. We have some good economy here. We have a lot of LNG plants. We have a lot of oil and gas here, a lot of refineries being built. We got a lot of deep waterways that is absolutely essential to us being a net exporter, and that's where we need to be. We're shipping LNG gas now all over the world, and that's great for our economy. So, yeah, people are coming to Texas. The taxes and everything are better here in Texas. We've got a little bit better weather, I think, than New York. I don't like the cold weather. When you're 75, you're always a little chilly. So Texas is good for me. But this is a great state and a great country, and we just need all pull together, and we'll get through this crisis that we're in.
And Joe, won't we soon have a stock exchange in Texas, too?
Yes, that's a fact. Isn't that great?
How about that?
That's a fact.
The new financial capital of the world and in a free state. How about that?
And Joe, I agree with you. You guys have good weather in Texas, but you got to find a way to make Texas unappealable to New Yorkers if you don't want all of those votes flooding down to the Lone Star State. Joe Penland, always a pleasure having you here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you both. Have a great evening.